They say defenses and running games travel well. Miami has both of those things. But a lot of folks are saying the Florida State Seminoles are going to be tougher this week because they lost to Virginia.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, if there is such a thing. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, co-host of Locked On ACC and host of Postgame on the Hurricanes Radio Network. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Folks, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Fully into rivalry week. Miami versus Florida State. My personal favorite rivalry in sports. On this loaded episode, we'll talk about any concerns we may have on the Miami side heading into this big-time matchup. Are the Florida State Seminoles actually tougher after a loss? Because that's a narrative that I'm seeing pop up. The quote-unquote, just what they needed narrative, that Virginia was the wake-up call that the Seminoles needed. We'll also have some words on what Mario Cristobal, Miami's head coach, had to say this morning on his weekly radio interview. But even though it's not Tuesday, a week like this calls for bonus truth teller. Bruce Warner is with us here on a Monday. So, Bruce, you're seeing what I'm seeing, right? A lot of the narratives coming out of Tallahassee this week are, you know what? Virginia was the wake-up call we needed heading into Miami week at home. Do you think the Seminoles are now more dangerous because they lost a game?
Yes and no. I think yes, because they're going to be more focused this week. But no, because it's a rivalry game. These games are always tough, no matter what the records. It's unless there was some times in the early '90s, late '90s, we beat them, they beat us. When Butch got here, we were on probation. He beat the hell out of us. But it doesn't matter to me. I don't think is somebody saying that Florida State, had they won against Virginia, would have been less jacked up for this game.
See, okay, you bring up a great point because I'm sure had Florida State won that game, people would say, well, look how incredible this team is. They're going to crush Miami. So I feel like that's a narrative. They were going to spin that in their favor in either direction. Had they won the game, Miami's toast. Because they lost the game, Miami's toast.
Okay, well, I don't buy any of that. That's the fans talking, right? And I only go by one mantra, Mario's mantra. It's about us. It's not about Florida State. I look at this team and I know they worked on during the week a lot of the passing stuff. I'm telling you that JoJo will play, that Lyle will play. They worked on how to defend Castellano. I know they're going to probably put a safety over Deuce Robinson and then take their chances with the other receivers. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all about what we do. And if we play our game, I don't care what they say or what they do. The Seminole fans, they're not going to beat Miami. I just looked at some draft stuff. We have two guys in the top 10, Bain and Malinoa, and we've got a bunch of guys later on. There's a lot of NFL talent on our roster, not on their roster. Yeah, it may have one or two, but I don't think it matters. Will they be jacked up? Yes. Will the fans be drunk? Yeah, it's a night game. I get it, but it's all about what Miami does. And if Miami lays an egg, they're going to lose. It has nothing to do with Virginia. Yeah. Nothing. Once that ball kicks off, it doesn't make a damn bit of difference. If we're prepared, I'm not worried. If we make stupid mistakes, if Beck is still struggling, if they're blitzing him and he can't pick up, somebody in the flat or do something about it, we're going to have a problem. But it doesn't have nothing to do with Virginia, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And even and listen, whatever it means for the Florida State side, like you said, doesn't affect the Miami side, in my opinion, because Miami is going to give their best in preparation for this game, regardless of whether Florida State beat Virginia by 50 or in this case lost to Virginia in double overtime. Like Miami is going to prepare the same way. Right. But even like Tommy Castellanos, the Florida State quarterback, was saying, like, kind of, I'm paraphrasing here, but like, maybe, we needed this because we were a little too high on ourselves last week. So, okay, maybe he thinks that's going to boost their side, but it's not going to change the way Miami prepares. Here's some of the things, Bruce, that Mario Cristobal said this morning, Monday morning on radio, on his weekly radio show. Some of it is what you talked about. Cristobal stressed that this is a business trip. And in fact, it's Miami's first road game of the season so far.
That scares me a little bit. That scares me a little.
Yeah, first road game. I mean, we haven't left the friendly confines of Hard Rock Stadium yet. Cristobal said, I think we saw across the country this weekend was conference play is in full swing, and it's conference football. He said it starts with preparation. Going on the road, you pack your toughness, your communication, your resiliency, and you do your absolute best. Now, I have no doubt Miami's going to pack their toughness, but I guess, Bruce, communication is one of those things that will be a little bit more difficult in a loud, crazy environment like that. So we're going to see how well Miami's defense communicates, because Gus Malzahn, is a really good offensive coordinator. Castellanos is a good fit for his offense. A lot of motion, a lot of misdirection, a lot of eye candy. So our communication is going to have to be top notch.
Yeah, and our tackling too, because they're going to do a lot of short passes. They're not dumb. They'll do screens. They're really good at screens. Typical Malzahn, like from when he was at Auburn. But we got to be ready for that stuff. Florida tried all that, but they dropped a lot of balls. The kid was throwing the ball all over the place. I think this is going to be tough, but I don't see them going deep on us. And I'm not worried about that. But I'm worried about Deuce Robinson. He's really good.
Yeah,
he pushes off a lot too. You can see he got caught once or twice. But we've got to contain that kid, and I'll take my chances with the rest. Their running game's not that good. I mean, you look at the stats. What are they averaging? 50, 60 points a game. But that's because they played two stiffs. And now they're in double overtime. They got 38 points. So I'm not. Listen, am I worried about them being psyched up? Seems to be the question. No, of course not.
No.
Both teams should be jacked to the max. This is going to be a bloodbath. Florida State's desperate, and this gives Miami a chance to take the state of Florida over, win their first ACC game on the road in a hostile environment. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's downhill from there, because everybody wants me to say that, but I won't. It's one game at a time. Louisville, I think they're unbeaten. We play them in 2 weeks. You just got to take it one game at a time, just like Mario said, and then we'll see. Now, at the four scenarios, we beat them close, we blow them out, they beat us close, and they blow us out. The one that you would think the least is they blow us out. So I just hope that doesn't happen,
Right.
But I think we have a shot of blowing them out. I just do. It depends on how we play, because they didn't impress me against Virginia. Offensively, that Deuce Robinson kid was the difference. He really was the most damaging one of all. He was really, really good.
By the way, did you think the controversial call, did you think that was a catch? Because but listen, I get it that if you are a fan of the team that sees that call go against you, of course you're going to be pissed. But if you look at it objectively, and I'd like to think I would say the same thing if it happened to Miami, although I'd probably be mad if it happened to Miami. He was playing hot potato with the football through the entirety of the end zone. Like, he never had control of that football until he was out of bounds. So I don't see why there was that much.
Even there, he bobbled it. And I remember a year ago, there was a play very similar to that. And what they said was, even though he had the ball in his hands, he did have some control. Just before he stepped beyond the line, he bobbled it again. And it has to happen through when you go either out of bounds or through the end zone. And he bobbled it again, so they did not call it a catch. So technically, they're wrong, Florida State. He didn't catch the ball. And I agree with you. Although, I'm shocked that when he had it in his hands from the beginning, why did he bobble it? There was nobody near him.
Yeah.
That guy made every catch in the world, except that one.
Right. Right. And it's like you can't, and even if you agree with me and Bruce that it wasn't a catch, it's like it doesn't take away from the great game that Deuce Robinson had, because the game wouldn't have been that close if he hadn't made so many other plays.
But he could have caught the ball cleanly when he first touched it, not have to worry about anything, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So look, that was lucky for Virginia. Really,
it was. That was definitely lucky for Virginia. Well, we have so much more to get to on this episode of Locked On Canes. So we'll talk about, of course, why this is a very different rivalry matchup than what Miami just had against Florida. Florida, no offense to speak of, really good defense. Now, Florida State, Definitely saw some things on their defense that Miami can exploit. Also,
Absolutely.
Bruce brought up JoJo Trader. Mario Cristobal did give an update this morning on JoJo Trader and Jordan Lyle. We will relay that to you guys. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Keep it locked. Guys, caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable 5-hour is. Big taste, tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. Folks, my favorite flavor for years has been grape, but I recently retried the berry flavor, and that's up there. I want to try the pomegranate flavor next. Folks, I've been eyeing the pomegranate, and honestly, I love when I pick up a 5-hour, I love how fast it kicks in and that it's sugar-free, so I don't have to worry about crashing later. Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Bruce. So when Mario Cristobal was asked by Joe Rose about, guys who have dealt with injury issues, Jordan Lyle, JoJo Trader, haven't seen either of them since the first game against Notre Dame. Cristobal said, quote, "We feel game 5 healthy. Have been close with a couple of guys we talk about every week. That's Lyle and Trader." Mario Cristobal said, "We feel great about them this week." So good news for Miami's offense because, the receivers who have been on the field have performed at a high level, specifically Malachi Toney, CJ Daniels, Josh Moore had his game against South Florida. We're starting to see Elijah Lofton get involved more at tight end. If you can throw a healthy JoJo Trader into that mix, and if you can throw a healthy Jordan Lyle into what's already, Bruce, been one of the most successful running back rooms in the country with Mark Fletcher and Marty Brown, that's going to be something Miami really needs if they're going to try for that blowout that you think is a possibility.
Well, I'm not thinking like that. I talked to Steve again last night. Just win by one. Just win by one.
Win by one.
I just want to win this game. I don't want to lose it. So we'll blow them out or win by one. I don't care. I'm not predicting anything. But I am saying that those guys have been integrated in the offense during the last week and will continue to work with the offense. And I still think we're going to see Lyle in the flat. We saw a Lofton in the flat against the Gators, right? And he jumped over that guy's head. He's dangerous, and he always had single coverage. So we got to work on that. But I think a lot of emphasis this week was on Beck, his throwing, his stepping into the throws. But a lot of he just made some bad decisions. You can't do that against Florida State because they're fast. But I think the offensive line, again, is our strength. And if they can't stop the run like they couldn't stop Virginia, I think we're going to light them up. I just do. I don't know how. Listen, you can't compare Virginia's receivers and quarterback to ours. But if we could run on them, we should pick them apart. I just don't want to see a high-scoring game. I would like to see 30, 34-17, 34-20, a comfortable win, but the point spread dropped from 6.5 to 4.5, which means money's coming in on Florida State. And I think that's because they think because they lost, they're going to be all jacked up. Well, they're going to be jacked up anyway.
Yeah,
Are they going to be flat? This is a big game for them. It's a big game for them in terms of recruiting.
Yeah.
Right?
It'd be a huge game for both sides in terms of recruiting.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
This is a real big deal. And you know that Mario has done, or all his predecessor coaches have done, they blasted that stupid war chant song during practices. If they're hearing it, they probably have headphones with that on while they're playing because they need to eliminate that noise. There'll be more hand signals. We did have some busted plays on the offense with those. They're saying that the defense is calling out signals and it's screwing up our center. It happened 6 times in the last 2 games. Yeah. So I'm sure they're working on that as well. Maybe a clap or somebody next to the center will wave his hand and there'll be the snap like they've done in the past. So I'm not worried about it. I'm just worried about falling behind and letting Florida State think they're in this game. This would be another great game to jump out 10-0, 14-0, whatever. But keep your foot on the gas. Don't get conservative.
Miami hasn't trailed in a game yet this season. So, okay, sorry. All right, let me move on. Let me move on from that.
That's a jinx of all jinx.
I mean, okay.
That's like saying the guy's got a no-hitter.
I'll move on. Forget I said it. Maybe I'll delete that from the episode. I don't know. But let's move on. So I think the two biggest advantages that Miami have, both are in matchups. Miami's offense versus Florida State's defense. Florida State's defensive line did not look as good as I thought they would against Virginia. Virginia had 3 starting offensive linemen out, and yet that Florida State D-line did not generate consistent pressure, consistent disruption. They're going to face a different animal with Miami's offensive line this week. Also, and I don't know if this is something that FSU can just fix from one week to the next, but they really have to emphasize tackling this week. Earl Little Jr. especially, like how many times did you see Florida State just going to put the shoulder down, not wrapping up, Virginia running right through tackles? When you look at what Miami has, specifically at running back, I brought this stat up yesterday, Bruce. Mark Fletcher Jr. is top 10 nationally in forcing missed tackles. Marty Brown averages 2.96 yards after contact. So if you're not tackling well, Miami's got a couple of running backs and maybe a third with Jordan Lyle this week who can make you pay for that.
Yeah, sometimes it's tackling. Sometimes the offensive line just pushing and pushing and pushing. So the guy gets hit, but he still gets 4 or 5 more yards.
Yeah.
Strength of the offensive line.
Tush push.
That pads those stats. But Florida State, if they need to get into gaps and stuff Miami in the backfield, not 5 or 6 yards down the field. So up front, again, I'm always talking about the D-line, but if they can get in those gaps, then it's going to make it tougher for us, which means you got to get the ball outside, get rid of the ball. So I think that has worked on that. Maybe he was, I don't know if he was just not feeling well, because wasn't there speculation that there was something wrong with his arm? There was somebody.
Here's the thing. That came out afterwards.
Right.
With some of the national hosts, like, hey, maybe he's not fully recovered. I felt like was irresponsible speculation because we don't have any actual evidence to that. I mean, listen, we do have evidence.
He threw about 4 or 5 balls practically in the dirt. He really did. He didn't.
Yeah, but then there was also like the timing was bad. Like Alex Bauman, the tight end, like a couple times didn't seem to know he was an eligible receiver. Was like blocking when he should have been, looking for the football to come his way. Like there was a lot of stuff that just seemed the timing was off. And listen, Florida's passing defense is really good. And I'm not saying Florida State's won't be. One of their defensive backs, Rawls, is having a really, really good season. But I still I think Florida had a better passing defense, in my opinion, than Florida State. So I think Beck can have a bounce back game. And if he was feeling tired or something, you had an extra week to recover.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I mean, I think that this is going to all play itself out Saturday night. Yeah. I'm staying home. I'm going to watch that game. I'm not going to it, but this is the biggest game for Mario. I believe this game would really put him on the map. The fact that we just dropped from 2 to 3 is somewhat irrelevant to me. I don't like it, but we need to use that as motivation. And other than the fact that, again, if we're 5-0, the first ACC, we know Georgia Tech. Let's assume they don't lose. Then we pretty much we control our own destiny. We roll the table, run the table. Florida State's out. We don't have to worry about Clemson. If we beat Louisville, so then if we play Georgia Tech in the final, I think we owe them, and I think we beat them badly. But we're way premature on that.
Yeah,
way premature.
Well, when we come back, a little bit more on the Miami-Florida State matchup. We'll tell you what Mario Cristobal had to say about Thomas Castellanos, who's having a lot of success leading the Florida State offense so far. Any concerns we have from Miami this weekend, we will address those. You want to keep it locked right here. We're not done yet on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. One of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly Open Phone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just with a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. I love how Quo, formerly known as Open Phone, lets your team share one number and collaborate on calls and texts like a shared inbox, so no customer gets left hanging. Their built-in AI agent is a game changer. It can answer after-hours calls, capture leads, and keep business moving even when you're off the clock. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. We're also proudly brought to you by FanDuel. Just had another exciting week of college football, exciting week of NFL, which will culminate with a couple games on Monday night, including my Miami Dolphins. I think they finally get a win, by the way. I probably just jinxed that. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you won't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built parlays, tried player props, and even followed live lines during the games. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcast. By the way, for your next listen, make sure you check out Locked On ACC. Kenton Gibbs and I will have a new episode coming out tonight. It was a chaotic weekend in the ACC. And Bruce, I'm assuming you saw Georgia Tech, who is probably going to make it to the ACC championship game, or at least they might because of how easy their schedule is.
Right.
But they almost blew it against Wake Forest, and they would have blown it if the referees didn't make one of the most boneheaded missed calls of the weekend.
You got
Georgia Tech had a guy lined up in the neutral zone, and the Wake Forest quarterback knew that, so he thought he had a free play, took a shot downfield that was incomplete, thinking we're going to get 5 yards, we can do it all over again, and the dumb officials missed it, and that cost Wake Forest the game.
Yep, it did, because they would have had a first down, and they would have had the ball. They could have run the clock out.
Yeah.
So that's not reviewable?
No, it's not reviewable. It should be.
The guy wasn't lined up, and he actually jumped into the neutral zone.
That's right. He jumped into the neutral zone. It was clear as day. Yeah.
Are you sure they can't challenge
No, they can't review it. Like so the officials that they did that thing were like, hey, they issued a statement afterwards. Hey, we missed the call. Okay, congratulations. You admitted it afterwards, but it doesn't change the outcome of that game.
It really did cost them the game.
It did.
So Georgia Tech, whatever. I'd rather see them than Clemson or Florida State in the title game if Miami's in it. Because I think we owe them. And I think
we want revenge.
We really beat them. But that's for another day. Anyway, my concerns, containing Castellanos. He looks like he's hurt a little bit. He hurt his foot 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But that's not, he'll be okay. And Deuce Robinson, he's very dangerous. He's dangerous on those back shoulder passes. I see it. He got called for pushing off once, and he pushed off on another catch. They didn't call it. But he's tall. And he's good on the slants, too, because he's tall. So I think we're going to have to roll the safety on him. Yeah. As far as Castellanos, will we put a spy on him? I don't know. I just don't know. But I don't think Virginia did. And they kept him pretty much in the pocket. He got 77 yards rushing. Yeah. But I'll take that. I'd rather have that than 2 or 3 touchdowns,
Well, and I hope we can force him into some of those throws where like he's under pressure and he just kind of lobs it up for grabs. Like I hope we can force a couple of those. That would be nice.
Hey, how about the one where the Georgia Tech guy deflected it and he knocked it into his own hands? It was an interception.
Oh yeah, the Virginia guy. Yeah, it was an interception.
Virginia guy. Yeah, that was a hell of a play.
Yeah, that's a great play.
They were in scoring position too.
I want Bain. I want Bain to do one. He's got an interception already this year. Let's grab another one.
Yeah, I want to see what Bain and Metsador do in this game. Yeah. Because this is the kind of quarterback that'll take it up the middle for 30 yards. On 3rd and 14, they'll get a first down. Yeah. I think we need to spy this kid and go from there. I think he's
in our tap
on him now that he's had all season long.
And Bruce, our tackling is going to be so important because, like you said earlier, we need to be winning on first downs. We can eventually force third and longs because, Florida State, they're going to try to minimize the impact of Bain and Mesidor by running a lot of screens, getting rid of the football quickly, having success on the ground so they're not facing third and longs where, Bain and Mesidor can really wreak havoc because you can't just block those guys. You have to scheme around them. Like, you can't just expect your offensive tackles to go out there and cancel out Bain and Mesidor. Like, the only way to beat these guys is to scheme around them. And that's what Gus Malzahn is going to try to do. You brought up
it's important for those tackles to get up the field too, to flush that kid out of the pocket right into Bain or Mesidor.
Yeah, right.
So good.
I was going to say, here's what Cristobal said about Castellanos this morning. He's currently one of the best players in the country. He makes it happen with his arm, his feet. He extends plays. He said Castellanos is surrounded by talent, big guys, physical guys up front is what one of the best players in the country. And listen, he's been, you can't really argue that. Castellanos has put up a ton of big plays through the air this year. On the ground, Florida State's offense is averaging 53 points per game. I know a couple of those were against cadavers, but that's still, their offense has been rolling.
How about the play that I think it was fourth down, and he threw it in the end zone. He was being rushed, and he throws it low, and the guy makes this incredible I'd say lucky. It was a lucky play, which gave them a chance to be tied. I think it was at 38, but still. Yeah, they just pulled a rabbit out of the hat. I don't know how good they really are. Everybody's been saying it. Who did they play? I mean, Alabama's better now, but they're nothing like they were the first week. They were like non-existent. And look, it's a rivalry game. I've been saying it the entire show. It jacks me up because it's Florida State. This is not who you want to lose to. This is a major game. When you think about it, if they do lose, you don't win the state.
Yeah.
Unless Florida upsets Florida State. We lose the recruiting battle with them, maybe of certain players. It gives them life, which we want to keep choking the life out of them. That's what we want. And if we polish them off this week, we're okay. I mean, who else is recruiting against? Louisville? They're not. We'll be fine. This is, to me, next to Notre Dame, which was the springboard for all this, the biggest game of this season, not the Gator game.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Huge for recruiting because Miami and Florida State, we're competing for enough of the same recruits. Plus, whenever Florida fires Billy Napier, then we're also going to be competing for the guys who are going to decommit and flip from Florida, right? So this is a massive game. And if Miami does win this weekend, Florida State's 0-2 in conference. Like, you kind of eliminate them from the ACC championship game if you get the win this week.
That's my point. Clemson has 2 losses already?
Yeah, 2 losses in conference.
Okay, so then really who's left? As long as we win every game, it doesn't matter. I don't care who we play. Who cares?
Yeah.
Let's get there. We haven't gotten there. Let's get there. We were there once. We got destroyed by Clemson. Yeah. So let's get there. Let's just win this game and then go on. Then we have another week off before we play Louisville. Right. We have another bye. What are we going to do for another 2 weeks after that?
I don't know. Here, by the way, Chris.
And if we do lose to Florida State Tuesday, I'm bringing on a psychologist for me and you. I'm going to need therapy.
We're going to need it. We're going to need it. By the way, people are already wondering what the weather is going to look like in Tallahassee. When we're 5 days out, so you take it with a grain of salt. But I'm looking at the 10-day forecast, Bruce, and I'm seeing partly cloudy. I'm not seeing
storms coming. There's like these storms in the Caribbean. They're coming this way.
But are they going to be in Tallahassee on Saturday though? Because I'm looking at
partly... get some wind or some nonsense off the coast. But
I want to play a dry game. Like, Miami hasn't played a single game without weather being a factor yet. Like, I want to go up there and not be playing in the mud with a wet ball. I'd like to have a good weather game for once. Well, we got a lot more coverage coming up this week here on Locked On Canes. In fact, Bruce is going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be probably bringing on a former Hurricanes player with us. That is still to be determined who it's going to be, but we're going to be back strong tomorrow. It's going to be a really, really busy week for us here on Locked On Canes. And also, Bruce, before we go,
Alonzo Highsmith's wife passed away. Horrible, terrible. Really nice lady. I already sent my condolences to Zoe. I texted him before. But on behalf of Alex, myself, all you guys, all you fans, I know you join in sending condolences to Alonzo Highsmith.
Yeah, just terrible. I saw this week that his wife passed. And I don't think I ever met his wife before, but just based on, like, he's posted a lot of photos and things about her. She seemed like just a lovely, wonderful woman. And, Alonzo, I just saw Alonzo, because he works with the Patriots front office, and he is able to come to like a lot of the Miami games as a scout. And so I just saw him at the Florida game, and I didn't realize this was before his wife passed, but I didn't realize how ill she was and everything. So I want to send, on behalf of the entire Locked On Canes family, I want to send our prayers, our condolences, and our love to Alonzo Highsmith's family after he just lost his wife. Just awful. And thank you, Bruce, for bringing that up.
No, my pleasure. It's just part of Canes. It's a Canes family thing. It's an issue. It's important for all of us.
Amen.
Hey, I'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yes,
True
sir.
Tell Tuesday. And then, of course, in another couple of weeks, we've been doing that show with Mark.
Yeah.
About his kidney transplant. And I'm hoping everybody tunes in, makes comments. We should do it live so we can see the comments. Otherwise, Mark's not going to, unless he reads them all, but that would be nice. All right. Have a good day. Go Canes. Practice hard.
Practice hard. Go get that W. Huge thanks to the Truth Teller. Huge thanks to all of you. Make sure you smash the like button. Subscribe to Locked On Canes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Folks, make sure you're checking out every Thursday on Fire TV. Locked On presents the College Football Kickoff Show, your ultimate college football weekly preview, hosted by Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12, alongside former two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. We'll talk to you next time on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.